Greetings and welcome to another Patch Notes video here at Words About Games, a weekly video series that lets us host discussions and post opinion pieces about our various thoughts on games, gaming, and the industry. Today I want to do the first of what I'm sure will be many videos highlighting some of the awesome things I've found while playing Dreams. These will be a collection of games, movies, art, and whatever cool stuff I've found while surfing the Dreamiverse. If you're interested in checking these fantastic creations out for yourself, there are links to all of their indreams.me pages in the description below the video on YouTube. So without further ado, here are 9 awesome creations I've found while playing Dreams. Super Great Job Human is the most fun I've had with a 3D platformer in years. Granted, part of the reason for that is because I haven't played a great many 3D platformers over the past few years, but I think the point still stands. I said while I was streaming the demo for this project that if you took away the watermark and simply handed me the PS4 controller with no context or additional information and told me this was simply an indie game, I wouldn't have called it as being made in Dreams. The world that's been created is stunning. The demo contains 4 areas, dozens of secrets and collectibles, and some really creative puzzles and gameplay mechanics, particularly around using an imp to actually help you make progress through the game. It's also super cute and oftentimes very witty. Plus the fact that this is just a demo for, I'm hoping, an even bigger game has me genuinely excited to keep tabs on the development of Super Great Job Human and hopefully play a full version sometime in the future. Can we give out Game of the Year awards to Dream Creations? Khurrana is a deceptively simple game. You control a car running laps of a racetrack, and you need to steer it without letting it touch the sides, or else it'll get electrocuted and explode. Each lap you complete will make the car run a little bit faster. The twist? You can only turn left by using the cross button. If you turn too far to the left, you've got no way to straighten the car up. Simple for sure, but it's actually incredibly addictive. Part of this is down to this simplicity. Part of it, I'm sure, is down to my own stubbornness of wanting to beat my lap record, because it shouldn't be so bloody hard to get round the track more than 8 times. But a big part of it is down to the progression mechanics. Every time you complete a perfect lap, where you don't touch the sides at all, you get a star, which you can spend on upgrades that are unlocked the more laps you complete. So you can purchase coffee beans, which can appear on the track and briefly slow down time, or you can attach a jetpack to your cow that you can use to blast yourself to the right. I've played quite a bit more of Khurrana than I thought I would have when I first decided to check it out, and honestly, I'll probably dive back into it a few more times at least. The Pilgrim was the first game I played in Dreams, aside from the Media Molecule created art stream, that made me say wow out loud to an empty room several times. I didn't really have any idea what to expect going in, and when I loaded it up I'd barely begun to scratch the surface of what people were making in Dreams. The Pilgrim simultaneously blew me away and reset my expectations for Dreams going forward. The Pilgrim is a platformer that occasionally switches between being fully 3D and offering a side-on 2D perspective, with both puzzle solving and combat on your way through its various chapters. It's backed by the occasional genre shift, beautiful graphics and environments, and a genuinely excellent soundtrack. Plus, it's actually a heckin' good time to play. I can't say much about Galaxy Cadet 2020, lest I ruin it for anyone who decides to check it out. And you absolutely should check it out, it's brilliant. The description for the game reads, "Why don't you sit down and play a nice video game?" Which, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea, right? There are a lot of creations in Dreams that are remakes, recreations, or adaptations of other IP. I'll be talking about some of them in this very video. But Keone is something a little bit different, instead drawing inspiration from another AAA game to create something that pays homage to its inspiration, while still clearly being its own thing. Keone is a third-person melee combat game that draws heavily from last year's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It currently features 2 levels filled with creatures you fight on your way to a boss. While the combat mechanics aren't as in-depth as a From Software game, they are reasonably solid, and getting into a rhythm of learning enemy patterns and when to attack, dodge, and block feels pretty satisfying. I have no idea if Keone as it is now is finished or a work in progress, but I hope it's the latter, because I'd enjoy playing a few more levels. Sometimes in amongst all the games that challenge your puzzle-solving capabilities, platforming skills, or manual dexterity, it's nice to just dive into a game and utterly wreck everything in sight. Enter Ruckus, which is, For want of a better way to describe it, a kaiju simulator. You play as a giant monster who's risen from the ocean and is making its way to a nearby city. Your goal is to destroy as much of the city as possible before the government decides their only recourse is nuclear annihilation. Your kaiju has a surprisingly varied moveset, equipped not just with a standard attack, but an array of special moves, including a blindingly powerful laser attack that, frankly, looks epic when used. There are some other neat touches, such as the game occasionally switching to a news report on the want and destruction you're causing, as you're causing it, or the fact that you can pick up and eat stuff. I imagine leveling an entire city can make you a bit snacky. If you're less in the mood for something complex and more down to just smash things, Ruckus is a pretty damn good time. On the other end of the spectrum, sometimes you might just want to find somewhere cozy and chill. Lord knows that sometimes all I want from a video game after a long stressful day is to sit back and switch off my brain in a relaxing environment. Beach Pool is perfect for that. It's simply a game of pool in a serene room, surrounded by quiet, save for the gentle crackling of a nearby fireplace. It's also a pretty solid pool game to boot. Both the physics and core gameplay are satisfying, so if you've any interest in pool, I can definitely see you getting some enjoyment from the game itself, aside from just how relaxing it is. And while there are no hard rules to its gameplay, I can imagine it's pretty easy to play an actual game of pool with someone by passing the controller backwards and forwards. For anyone who has no idea what PT was, it was a playable teaser for the now cancelled Silent Hills, a game which was to have been led by Hideo Kojima. Despite only being a teaser, PT remains to this day one of the best horror games I've ever played, and it still hurts that Konami destroyed both their relationship with Kojima and Silent Hills, which, if PT was anything to go by, going to be one heck of a game. Unfortunately, in their short-sightedness, Konami also removed PT from the PlayStation Store, so unless you kept it installed on your PS4, there's no way to actually play it. That's what makes the recreation of PT in Dreams important. Not only does this game manage to capture the spirit of the original so well that I felt the very familiar pangs of terror and anxiety while I was wandering the looping corridor where the entire game is set, but it's also realistically the only way to play a PT for all but a very small number of people. While it's not a one-for-one recreation of the original teaser, it's an incredible facsimile, and if you've never played PT, you should definitely give the Dreams version a shot. You won't be disappointed, though you may be thoroughly terrified. I had imagined that finding a first-person shooter in Dreams that had satisfying shooting mechanics would take some time. While I expected a lot of cool horror games, puzzle games, platformers, and more to emerge from Dreams pretty quickly, I'm actually quite picky when it comes to my first-person shooters. Though I wouldn't say I was a snob or anything, I just know what I like and tend to drop off a lot of shooters fairly quickly. Which makes Prometheus a fairly pleasant surprise. The demo itself is pretty basic. It is a demo after all. You make your way through a short level with a smattering of different enemies, basically ones that charge you for melee attacks, and ones that shoot you from a distance, armed with 3 different guns, an assault rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. I could poke holes in some of its design features, but again, it's a demo. Not only that, it's a demo that's got it where it counts. Its shooting is actually pretty satisfying. While the recoil of the various guns can make gaming feel a little haphazard, the shooting itself is enjoyable, to the point that I could definitely see a full game being made from what's here in this demo. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, consider sticking around here at Words About Games. Our content includes review impressions of games big and small, a weekly podcast dedicated to discussing the happenings in and around the games industry, weekly opinion videos, reactions, debate-driven top 5 and top 10 lists, a regular Hall of Fame series where we discuss our favourite games, and indie game spotlights. We also stream every Friday and Saturday at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. Most importantly, have a brilliant day.